Chapter 1, Gentle Beginnings, the Quiet Heart of the Universe. You lie down beneath the sky, and space becomes a mirror to your breath. From the stillness of your own body, you begin to sense the silent threads that hold everything together. This chapter invites you into the gentle mystery, where science begins not in equations, but in wonder. The universe, like you, is quiet at its core, waiting to be known, gently, without hurry. You lie back in the hush of evening, wrapped in the softest layers of twilight. Above you, the sky stretches open, wide and deep and slow. There are no edges up there, no fences or ends, only a vastness that somehow feels as intimate as your own breath. The stars begin to glow faintly, like memories surfacing after a long silence. The world around you softens. The hum of daytime fades. You are still. And in that stillness, you begin to notice a rhythm, not loud, not sharp, but ancient and steady. It lives in your chest, in the quiet rise and fall of your breath, and it seems to echo something greater. You are here, small and warm and alive, and yet, you feel it now, you are part of something much, much wider. Science often begins with questions. But tonight, we begin with a feeling, the quiet awe of simply being part of this universe. Think of your body. Millions of cells, each alive in their own way, each holding molecules that once floated in space. The calcium in your bones was forged inside a star. The iron in your blood pulsed first through the heart of a dying sun. You are not apart from the cosmos. You are one of its softest echoes. You breathe in, and the air is cool and full of old stories. That breath contains molecules exhaled by ancient trees, by distant strangers, by creatures that once walked this earth and are now folded gently into soil. Nothing is ever truly lost here. Everything is passed forward, changed, but never erased. And as you lie still, this idea begins to root inside you: the universe is not just something you look at. It's something you're inside of. Something you belong to. The silence around you isn't empty. It hums, if you listen closely. It hums with the weight of time and the whisper of motion. Galaxies spin in their spirals far beyond what your eyes can see. Dust and gas drift like ghostly rivers between stars. And yet, even in all this movement, there is calm, a deep, slow unfolding. You feel the ground beneath you, the earth turning gently as it has done for billions of years. It doesn't rush. It doesn't need to. The universe knows how to take its time. You begin to sense a kind of thread, invisible, but present, weaving through everything. It moves between the cells in your hand, between the stars overhead, between every particle that exists. This thread doesn't tug or pull. It simply connects. And in that connection, it offers meaning. The feeling of being part of a pattern too vast to see, yet simple enough to feel. There's a word scientists use: symmetry. It's the idea that nature often repeats itself in balanced, beautiful ways. Snowflakes, spiral galaxies, the orbit of electrons, all speak this quiet language. Symmetry is not perfection. It's harmony. It's the way things hold each other in place. And you, too, are held in place by things you cannot see: gravity, light, time. Forces that shape without needing to be seen. When you close your eyes, the dark isn't empty. It's full of possibility, of connection, of the smallest ingredients of reality swirling and shifting just beneath the surface. You are not drifting through nothing. You are floating in a sea of something, something mysterious, something meaningful. And that is where quantum ideas begin to stir. Not with machines or math, but with the smallest whisper of what if. What if particles can be in two places at once? What if they can touch without touching? What if the very act of watching changes what's real? These questions don't demand answers now. They invite you to wonder, slowly, sleepily. In your body, trillions of atoms pulse with quiet life. Every second, particles within you flicker in and out of certainty. You don't notice them, they are too small, too fast, but they are there, forming and dissolving the very idea of you, in a rhythm more delicate than any clock could measure. And somehow, that rhythm still makes sense. You are not chaos. You are harmony made visible. And beyond you, far beyond your room, your town, your planet, the same particles are doing the same dance. Moving, connecting, reacting. Not randomly, but with deep rules. Rules that are strange, yes. But rules that hold. This, too, is part of the quiet heart of the universe, the idea that even the oddest behaviors, the flickering of particles, the sudden appearance of energy, the bond between things far apart, are not accidents. They are signatures. Signs that even in its smallest places, the universe holds together. And now you're floating in this thought, weightless as a breath. The night deepens. The stars begin their slow wheel across the sky, and you follow, gently. Not to chase, but to drift. Not to solve, but to feel. Because science doesn't always speak in loud answers. Sometimes, it sings in soft mysteries. As you breathe in again, you begin to wonder, if these particles are so small, so separate, how do they stay connected? How do they speak, without sound or light or space? You drift, with that question like a warm stone in your palm. Not heavy. Just real. Just waiting. And far out there, or perhaps very close, a pair of particles shimmer, still bound to each other by a thread too quiet to break. You feel that thread now, just at the edge of your thoughts, and you wonder. Chapter 2, What is a quantum? The smallest whisper in the world. Float into the tiniest places. Where particles shimmer in and out of being like thoughts before dreams. Here, the world stops behaving as expected, and instead begins to dance. You begin to feel how strange and beautiful it is to be made of quantum things. At this scale, certainty dissolves into softness, and the universe begins to glow from within. You close your eyes and let yourself shrink. Not in body, but in thought. You imagine yourself growing smaller and smaller, smaller than the grains of sand, smaller than the cells in your skin, smaller than even the atoms that make them up. You become lighter than air, softer than mist, until at last you arrive in a place where the world no longer moves by rules you recognize. Here, in this tiniest space, the universe behaves like a dream. This is the realm of the quantum. The word quantum feels delicate, doesn't it? It sounds like a feather landing. Like a note played too quietly to hear. But in truth, it carries weight, not of size, but of meaning. A quantum is the smallest possible piece of something. A drop of energy. A moment of change. A whisper that says, this is enough. No smaller. You float here now, surrounded by possibility. Particles shimmer around you, not like marbles or specks of dust, but like flickers of maybe. They do not sit still. They vibrate with a kind of quiet urgency, flickering in and out of what feels real. Sometimes they are here. Sometimes they are somewhere else. Sometimes, it seems, they are both. There's no hard edge in this world. A particle might be a wave. A wave might behave like a point. The more closely you look, the less you know. If you try to find where a particle is, you lose track of where it's going. If you try to measure its speed, its position slips away like mist through your fingers. This isn't chaos. It's a kind of soft order, one that prefers questions to answers. You watch a particle now, just one, and it seems to float in 1,000 directions at once. Not because it's confused, but because it can. Because until it is seen, until the world makes it choose, it prefers to keep its options open. Like a thought before a decision. Like a dream before it fades. Quantum physicists call this superposition. But you don't need the word. You can feel it, the calm, the freedom, the stillness before action. You know that moment, don't you? When you're about to speak but haven't. When you're about to open a door, and the world behind it could be anything. That moment, suspended and full, is what the quantum lives inside. And then, something happens. A glance. A measurement. A moment of attention. And suddenly, the particle is somewhere. The possibilities collapse. One outcome becomes real. You wonder, does your watching make it real? Not because your eyes are special, but because the universe responds to awareness. In this strange place, things become solid only when noticed. As if the cosmos is waiting for you to pay attention before it finishes painting the picture. You drift a little deeper into this quantum sea. The particles around you are not alone. They interact, gently. They influence each other's behavior, like dancers adjusting their steps to the motion of another. But here, these steps are not made by feet. They're made by fields. Invisible presences. Forces that ripple through space and time without needing to be seen. And in this gentle dance, things can happen suddenly, and without clear cause. A particle may disappear from one point and appear in another, without crossing the space in between. This is not magic. This is tunneling. Not through stone or soil, but through barriers made of probability. The particle simply is, on the other side. You pause here, in awe. The laws that guide your body, your world, the push of gravity, the pull of magnetism, the certainty of momentum, they all begin to dissolve at this level. And what remains is a sense of wonder. That the universe is built not from certainty, but from potential. Not from hard edges, but from soft choices. A photon, a particle of light, blinks into your awareness. It doesn't travel like a train on a track. It moves like a ripple on water. Sometimes it acts like a wave, bending and stretching and weaving through cracks. Other times, it behaves like a sharp knock on a door, a packet of energy, arriving all at once. You understand now that things are not always one thing or another. Sometimes, they are both. Sometimes, they are in between. And as you float among these particles, you begin to see that you too are part of this softness. Your thoughts, fleeting, shifting, move like quantum events. Your emotions, rising and falling, feel like waves. You are not made of concrete truths. You are made of layered possibilities. And yet, you hold together. Somehow, in all this uncertainty, the world works. Atoms form molecules. Molecules build cells. Cells make you, thinking, feeling, sleeping you. This quiet order, this elegant chaos, is not a flaw. It's the language of reality at its deepest level. And you feel it now. That to know something truly, you must let it be strange. To understand the world, you must accept its shimmer, the way it refuses to stay still under your gaze. You feel the slow breath of the cosmos here. Its rhythm is not in seconds, but in probabilities unfolding. In events that almost happen. In things that only become real when the moment is right. And as you float back from this tiny world, not away, but upward, you carry with you a feeling. That small does not mean simple. That uncertainty is not weakness. That the tiniest whisper can hold a truth too vast to speak. You exhale gently, and the world expands again. But a question drifts beside you, soft as starlight. Chapter 3, Entanglement, a bond that ignores distance. Imagine two particles, born together like twins in the stars. No matter how far they drift, they remain mysteriously connected. In this chapter, you explore the quiet magic of quantum entanglement, a link that never fades. It is not tethered by thread or wire, but by something stranger, a deep, invisible togetherness. You drift gently now, carried by the memory of particles that shimmer and shift. You remember how they flicker, here, then gone, a wave, then a point. You remember how they choose when watched, how they exist in soft, humming possibility. But tonight, something stranger waits in the stillness. Not a single particle now, but two. Two particles, born in the same place, at the same time, a mirrored breath from the lungs of the universe. You float near them, side by side in their moment of creation, where their identities tangle like roots beneath soil. This is the beginning of entanglement. You feel the bond before you understand it. It is not a line, not a chord. It is more like music, two notes that continue to echo one another, even after the instrument has fallen silent. Or two candles lit from the same flame, still carrying that moment of unity, no matter how far apart they now burn. Entanglement means these particles are no longer fully themselves. Not alone. They are one system, stretched across space. What happens to one, its direction, its spin, its gentle orientation, is somehow known to the other, instantly. You wonder, slowly, how? How can one particle know what the other does? How can it respond, without traveling? Without signal or sound or any thread of connection? You let the question stay open, like a window at night. Because entanglement doesn't move faster than light, it simply does not move at all. It just is. It is the idea that space is not always what we think. That distance may not be distance at all, not in the quantum world. That two things once linked might remain so, no matter the space between them. You picture the particles now. One remains near. The other floats far, past stars and dust, across the slow wheel of galaxies. And yet, they still mirror each other. Not through messages, but through shared being. It's like watching twins who finish each other's sentences, not because they hear the other, but because the sentence lives in both of them. One turns left. The other turns right. One spins up. The other spins down. Not chosen by force, but by balance. The connection is complete before the choice is made. You drift beside this thought. It feels quiet and ancient. In this realm, identity is not isolated. To be entangled is to be part of something bigger than self. A web, invisible and vast. And you wonder, could this idea belong only to particles? Or is it a deeper truth, one that touches the way you remember, the way you feel someone before they speak, the way grief echoes even when the person is gone? Entanglement is not emotion. It is not mysticism. It is science. Measured, tested, confirmed in labs around the world. And yet, it feels close to poetry. Because to measure one particle, and see the other change, even when light years away, is to feel the universe blink. As if reminding you, everything touches everything. You picture the experiments. Cold rooms. Silent detectors. Particles split, sent in opposite directions. One observed. One responding, not later, but now. Again. And again. Again. No matter how they try to break the bond, it remains. And this bond, this quiet echo between twins, refuses to obey the old rules. The rules of clocks and rulers and wires and waiting. It bypasses time as we know it. Not breaking the limit of speed, but stepping outside the need for it. You feel the stillness of this idea. It doesn't rush. It doesn't shout. It simply is. And now your mind begins to drift wider. If two particles can be entangled, what about more? Could there be webs, networks, vast tapestries of matter and energy all gently bound together? Could the universe be filled with quiet relationships you cannot see, but which shape how things unfold? You imagine it, a soft geometry of belonging, linking not only particles, but patterns. A field of shared beginnings. And it humbles you. Because you begin to feel the possibility that even you, in all your complexity, might be connected to something else, something distant. Not by thread or wire, but by shared origin. By the story of atoms that once touched in the furnace of a star, and now reside in your cells and in the air, in the dust of the moon, in the water of oceans not yet discovered. It's not superstition. It's not metaphor. It is the quiet reality of quantum birth. That things which arise together may stay together, even when pulled apart. You think of your own life. The people you've known. The sudden memories. The laughter remembered without sound. Could there be echoes of entanglement in these moments too? Not literal particles, but the shape of a deeper truth. That connection, real, measurable, physical, can exist beyond contact. You rest in this thought, slow and unhurried. The sky overhead remains unchanged, but somehow, it feels closer. Not above, but around. Not far, but folded gently near. The universe, once imagined as cold and separate, now feels like a single thing, not distant stars and drifting galaxies, but a whole, pulsing presence. And as you settle further into stillness, you begin to wonder. Chapter 4, Spooky Action, When Einstein Couldn't Sleep. Drift back in time to when even great minds felt uneasy. Einstein once called it spooky, this invisible pull between distant particles. As you sink deeper into the story, you begin to feel what he felt: curiosity, awe, and the stirring of something not quite known. Some truths are so quiet, they unsettle even the sharpest minds. And some mysteries are soft enough to follow you into sleep. The night feels older here. Time folds a little, and you find yourself drifting back, not just in space, but in thought. You are moving gently through decades, toward a man who once looked at the sky with sharp eyes and a restless mind. His name is Albert Einstein. You've heard it before, the name, the hair, the genius. But tonight, you meet the quiet version of him, not the celebrity, but the thinker in his room, unable to sleep. Outside, the stars are unchanged. But inside his thoughts, the universe is misbehaving. He believed in order. In a world built like a watch, precise, logical, beautifully mechanical. Things moved. Things caused other things to happen. Nothing came from nowhere. But now, something doesn't fit. Einstein has just read about a strange prediction, something whispered from the new world of quantum physics. It says that two particles, once connected, can remain linked across any distance. That if you observe one, the other will respond, instantly. No delay. No travel. Just, change. He frowns. Because for him, nothing is supposed to be faster than light. And certainly, nothing should influence something else without touching it. That's not how reality is supposed to behave. To Einstein, this isn't just wrong, it's spooky. He uses the word with a hint of humor, but also with discomfort. Spooky action at a distance. And now, you feel it too. The unease that even a genius feels when faced with the unfamiliar. The softness of an idea that refuses to fit inside old boxes. You imagine him walking the floor at night. Books open. Chalk dust still in the air. He is used to things making sense. Used to cause, then effect. But here, he sees effect without clear cause, reaction without a message. The quantum world doesn't obey the same clocks. It doesn't use wires or light beams to deliver its messages. It just knows. And that unsettles him. You feel compassion for him. And recognition. Because you, too, want the universe to be tidy. You want space to be space, and time to be time, and things to happen where they belong. But science is not here to comfort. T is here to reveal. And sometimes, that revealing feels like a soft cracking, the sound of an old idea opening just enough to let in something new. Einstein is not wrong. He's just early. He believes entanglement must be incomplete, that something is missing, something hidden, something still to be found. A deeper rule, waiting behind the curtain. And so, he writes letters. He talks with friends. He challenges the rising quantum physicists, people like Niels Bohr, who believe the universe does not owe us clarity. They tell him, perhaps reality itself is made of probabilities. He replies, God does not play dice. But the experiments begin. And over the years, slowly, patiently, they suggest that this spooky action might be real. Not just theory, but fact. And yet, you feel no fear. Because this strangeness is not threatening. It's soft. It's quiet. It asks only to be noticed. The idea that two particles can remain linked, no matter the distance, begins to feel less spooky, and more like a kind of trust. As if the universe remembers where things began, and honors that memory in silence. Even now, in laboratories cooled to near zero, scientists test entangled particles again and again. They send them apart, to opposite ends of cities, or satellites in orbit, and still, they echo each other. Still, they behave as one. Einstein, if he could see these results, might still raise an eyebrow. He might still ask for a clearer answer. But perhaps, just perhaps, he would smile, too. Because even he, with all his logic and brilliance, knew that wonder is part of the work. That not understanding everything is not a failure, it's a beginning. You lie back now and let that thought settle. That even minds like Einstein's were allowed to feel confused. That science does not demand certainty, only curiosity. The night continues. Stars drift across the sky like slow sparks. And somewhere, perhaps, two entangled particles respond to each other across a great quiet. Not spooky. Not magical. Just the world being deeper than we thought. And as you let your body relax, your breath soft and even, a new thought begins to rise. Not about what's strange, but about what's shared. Because if distance can be ignored. Chapter 5, The Quantum Thread, Weaving Space Without Touch. Follow a thread not made of string, but of pure connection. Here, the universe weaves its pattern, particle to particle, star to star, in ways that seem like secret conversations. You feel part of that tapestry now, that a soft line between things, invisible, but always present. You begin this chapter lying in stillness, but the stillness is not empty. It is full. Beneath the quiet, there is movement, subtle and slow, like roots growing in the dark. Somewhere deep in that darkness, a thread is being pulled. It does not tug at your skin. It does not shake the air. But you feel it inside your breath, as if something gently connects you to something else, far away. A connection without rope. Without sound. Without travel. The quantum world doesn't need touch to speak. It weaves its conversations through connection alone. You think back to the particles, to their strange bond across impossible distances. How one seems to know the other, even when they're too far for light to reach. You wonder, what is between them? What makes the bond hold? Physicists sometimes speak of the quantum field, not as empty space, but as a kind of fabric. Not woven from thread, but from potential. A field of pure possibility, stretched across everything. Like fog so fine, it moves through the tiniest cracks in being. And within this field, particles rise like notes in a song. Not placed by hand, but emerging from deeper harmonies. You imagine it now, the entire universe as a living fabric. Not stitched, but humming. Each point vibrating with invisible rhythm. Each movement felt by another. When one particle changes, the thread shifts. And that shift is felt. You are made of this fabric. The atoms in your fingers, the photons in your eyes, they all swim in this quantum sea. And yet they are not separate. They are stitched into something shared. Even space itself may not be the background. It may be the thread. You think of weaving. Not by hands, but by patterns. The way a spider stretches silk between two empty points. The way roots find each other underground. The way starlight bends as if space itself is soft. In the quantum world, things are not always in places. They are in relationships. One particle becomes meaningful only in how it connects to another. It is not the dot, but the line between dots, that tells the story. You are part of those lines. The connection between particles is not a stretch, not a bridge. It is a wholeness. It's as if two things are not two things, but one expression split by perspective. This is what entanglement whispers, that separation is not as simple as distance. That perhaps everything is part of one great unfolding. And if you follow this thread further, it begins to reshape what space means. What if space isn't a container, but a consequence? Not where things are placed, but how they relate. You are not just floating in space. You are shaping it. Your atoms bend and curve it. Your mass gives it texture. You do not sit in the universe. You participate in making it real. The thread between particles doesn't lie above space. It may be what creates space. This idea settles over you like a quiet snowfall. You begin to understand, the thread is not a string you follow. It's the silent agreement between things. A handshake you cannot see, but that holds even when no one is looking. And it's not only for particles. It may be true for thoughts, for time, for the self. Each moment shaped by the invisible pull of what came before, and what is still to come. This thread does not break. Even when stretched. Even when twisted. It remains. It carries no signal. It whispers no code. But it knows. It knows that once things have touched, they do not fully let go. The stars you see now, their light touches you, and you respond. Your retina shifts. Your thoughts rise. You are changed. Light travels, but connection is instant. You feel it in memory too. In the way a scent returns you to another room, another time. The way a name can stir a whole story with a single syllable. These are not just symbols. They are threads. You begin to wonder if this quantum thread lives in everything. In laughter that echoes after silence. In music that continues even after the notes stop. In the way two hearts can beat in rhythm across oceans, without knowing why. You let these thoughts drift like feathers. Nothing needs to be proven tonight. Only felt. And you feel, more than ever, that you are part of this great net. A web of relationships so fine and so vast, no I can see it all at once. The thread is not a rope to pull. It is a belonging. You lie still, but you are never alone. Around you, connections shimmer, not because you reach, but because you are. The universe does not shout. It whispers. And the thread is its whisper. You close your eyes and feel it. The particle. The field. The rhythm between. Not outside you, but within you. And as sleep rises, slow and sure, one final thought lifts to the surface, gentle, unresolved. Chapter 6, Experiments in the Dark, How We Saw the Invisible. Scientists built quiet rooms, deep in the dark, just to listen for these whispers between particles. I end this chapter, you gently walk through experiments, not loud and bright, but careful, silent, and full of hope. Each question is a candle lit in shadow, each result, a shimmer on still water. Close your eyes and imagine a room with no windows. No hum of electronics, no outside sounds. The walls are thick, the air still. The lights are off. This is not a place built for comfort, it's built for clarity. You are inside one of the world's quietest places, a physics laboratory prepared to listen not with ears, but with patience. Here, scientists come not to shout their questions, but to wait for answers. There's something reverent about it. As if science, too, can become a kind of listening. A practice of silence. A search not for noise, but for whispers. You drift through this stillness. The air is cool, brushed with the scent of metal and time. Around you are tables of delicate instruments, their surfaces catching the softest glow of control lights. You feel the care in every corner. The way each machine is wrapped to keep warmth away. The way floors are padded to keep vibrations from sneaking in. The way every wire is tuned, not to speak louder, but to hear better. Because what they are trying to hear is nearly nothing. They are looking for what cannot be seen. For particles too small, too fast, too quiet. For threads that flicker into view only when the universe allows it. You walk past chambers where photons are born one at a time. Lasers tuned so gently they hum below thought. Glass mirrors split beams so precisely it feels like choreography. And then, the moment comes, two particles are created. Entangled. Released. One goes left. One goes right. And even though they travel in opposite directions, something about them remains joined. When scientists measure one, they wait to see what the other will do. The results aren't loud. They come in patterns. Probabilities. Tiny nudges in the expected noise. But over time, a shape appears. One that says, yes. The particles are not just drifting. They are connected. This is not theory anymore. This is data. Evidence. But the world does not change with a bang. It changes with a breath. With someone in the quiet saying, we saw it. And still, they test again. New experiments are built in mountains, deep underground, to keep cosmic rays out. New detectors are cooled to near absolute zero, to stop their own atoms from moving. New timing tools are so precise they can split a second a billion times. And the particles continue to speak. No wires. No signals. Just correlation, stronger than chance. As if the universe were whispering to itself, far apart, but still whole. You picture the faces of the scientists, not always smiling, not always certain. But focused. Devoted. Listening for something deeper than themselves. They spend years building machines the size of buildings, only to measure something smaller than a thought. And in these labs, time stretches. Each experiment can take months, years. A single reading might come once a night. Sometimes not at all. You feel the patience it takes. The kind that grows in the dark. The kind that believes the unseen is worth seeking. You think of photons again. Their delicate spin. Their unpredictable dance. And the famous experiments, the Bell test, where entangled particles prove that reality, at its core, is not local. That something beyond classical understanding was at play. Bell's theorem, not a metaphor, not a myth, but a bridge. Between what can be explained, and what must simply be accepted. You let that bridge stretch beneath you now. It doesn't feel cold. It feels kind. Not demanding belief, only inviting you to notice what is true, even when you cannot touch it. Even now, across the world, these quiet rooms still listen. Satellites now carry entangled particles through the sky. Experiments stretch across mountaintops and oceans. And still, the connection holds. The data flows in. And each point of confirmation feels like a hand pressed gently to the chest, not to shake, but to steady. You begin to see that science isn't always lightning and breakthroughs. Sometimes, it's a long candle held against wind. A single light kept alive through night after night. And in that light, you can begin to see a map. Of what space might be. Of what time might mean. Because these results do not only tell us about particles. They tell us about the nature of reality itself. That perhaps we are not in a cold, indifferent void, but a subtle, responsive sea. One where events lean into one another. One where cause and effect might not be as separate as we thought. And if connection doesn't need a path. If communication can be replaced by correlation. If silence itself can speak, then what else might time be holding? You breathe in deeply, letting that thought stay. Not as a riddle, but as a rhythm. Not as a conclusion, but as an invitation. Because the particles have spoken. Quietly. And the thread between them remains. And so you wonder. Chapter 7, The Speed of Thought, Can Information Leap? You are lying still, but your thoughts travel. Could quantum particles do the same? Leap from place to place without moving through space. This chapter rocks you gently into the strange idea that time and space might not be barriers at all, just invitations to look deeper. You rest here, still and soft. Yet your thoughts are not still. They travel. Without effort, they leap, across memories, across moments, across the hush of time. 1 second you're here, the next you're far away, wrapped in a sound from childhood, or the warmth of sunlight you've known before. You wonder, if thought can leap, could something else? Could information, not stories or dreams, but the deep kind, the kind particles carry, move without walking the space between? In the quantum world, particles don't always obey the rules you expect. They do not cross the floor one footstep at a time. Sometimes, they disappear from one point and reappear at another, like an idea blinking between minds. This is called tunneling. And it's not a metaphor. Imagine a hill. A classical particle would need to climb over it. But a quantum particle might simply appear on the other side, without ever being seen in the middle. It does not break through. It does not smash the wall. It simply isn't there, and then it is. As if space was never the obstacle. Only our way of seeing. You breathe in slowly. The air feels lighter now. Information, too, may not need to travel in the old sense. It may not ride on wires or light beams. It may not even move. Instead, it may unfold, the way a blossom opens all at once, or the way understanding arrives in a quiet flash. In quantum mechanics, this is what entanglement suggests, not a signal sent from here to there, but a change that is there when it is here. Einstein didn't like it. He thought something had to move. That the world must follow a rhythm of cause and effect, one beat at a time. But the experiments seem to hum a different tune. And you feel that tune now. It's quiet. But steady. Strange, but familiar. Like a melody you've heard in a dream. Time and space, it says, may not be as separate as they seem. You imagine two dancers on opposite sides of a stage. They move in perfect mirror, though they never touch. To the audience, it looks like magic. But to the dancers, it's rehearsal, memory, trust. Perhaps particles are like that too. Not sending messages, but sharing a script. In your mind, a question rises like a tide: what is speed, if nothing needs to move? You remember that light is the fastest thing we know. But even light has limits. It takes time to reach us from the stars. It takes 8 minutes from the sun. But entanglement, that spooky whisper, does not wait. It just is. So what then, is information? Is it a thing that flies? Or a shape that forms? Is it a ripple across time, or something timeless, like presence? You lie here, still. And yet you know things, about people far away, about feelings not spoken. You sense things. You recall them. No wires. No signals. Just awareness. This is not science fiction. It is human experience. And in physics, too, information is central. Black holes, for example, once puzzled scientists deeply. If they swallowed everything, matter, energy, even light, what happened to the information? Could it be lost? That question became a riddle at the heart of physics. Because if information can be destroyed, then something in the universe breaks. And yet, it seems it isn't destroyed. It is transformed. Like steam from boiling water. It leaves the pot, but not the world. So maybe information does not leap. Maybe it spreads. Maybe it reframes itself. Maybe it travels not through space, but through understanding. And if you look inward, to your own thoughts, the way memories leap, the way a scent can trigger a decade, the way a name can summon emotion, you begin to see, information doesn't need a road. It just needs resonance. The universe might be less like a line, and more like a bell. When struck, it does not carry sound from one end to another. It vibrates as a whole. Every part knows. Every part sings. And so, you rest. You let the idea settle that space may not be what divides. That time may not always move forward. That there may be other ways of being near. And in that soft space, you begin to wonder, not how fast something moves, but how deeply something connects. You are no longer watching science from the outside. You are swimming in it. The dance of particles. The silence of speed. The leap without motion. It all lives here. With you. And just before sleep pulls you fully into its arms, a final thought lands like a feather. Chapter 8, Nature's Hidden Language, Beyond Cause and Effect. In the ordinary world, things follow one another, cause, then effect. But in the quantum world, this rhythm softens. Here, outcomes blur, and everything is a maybe. You begin to feel how soft logic can be. You float now, in a space where the familiar hum of cause and effect begins to quiet. Here, in the deepest stillness of the subatomic realm, the strict linearity you know starts to unravel. In your everyday world, a ball rolls because you push it. A light turns on because you flip a switch. This clear, sequential rhythm, this dance of action and reaction, feels like the very bedrock of existence. But here, in this shimmering, subtle place, that bedrock becomes fluid, more like a gentle, ever-shifting current. Imagine a single, shimmering particle, a tiny speck of possibility. In your familiar world, if you were to observe it, you would expect to find it in one definitive place, moving in one predictable direction. But here, within the quantum whisper, this particle doesn't simply exist in one state. It exists in many, all at once, a superposition of possibilities. It is here, and there, and everywhere in between, until you, the gentle observer, choose to look. This isn't a trick of light or a failure of your vision. It is the fundamental nature of reality at this scale, a reality where everything is a maybe, a symphony of potential. Think of it like a ripple in a perfectly still pond. In your world, a stone drops, and a ripple expands. Cause, then effect. But here, the ripple might exist before the stone, or the stone might materialize from the ripple, or perhaps both emerge from an unseen, underlying hum. It's as if time itself becomes less of a straight line and more of a softly woven fabric, where threads can intertwine and diverge in ways you hadn't imagined. The future isn't simply a consequence of the past, it's a whisper that gently shapes the present, and the present, in turn, influences what was. This isn't to say that all order dissolves. Rather, the order becomes more nuanced, more poetic. It's like listening to a piece of music where the melody isn't just notes following one another, but notes resonating with echoes of what's to come, and harmonies that hint at what has been. The logic isn't broken, it's simply stretched, softened, and made more capacious. You begin to perceive a deeper, more intricate pattern, one that embraces ambiguity, one that finds beauty in the undefined. Consider the simple act of light. In your world, light travels in straight lines, a wave carrying energy. But here, at its most fundamental, light isn't just a wave, it's also a particle. And it doesn't choose to be one or the other until it interacts with something, until it is observed. This duality, this graceful ambiguity, is a hallmark of this hidden language. It's as if nature itself prefers to keep its options open, to delay its final decision until the very last moment, like an artist holding a brush, contemplating the perfect stroke. And what about entanglement? Imagine two particles, separated by vast distances, yet intimately connected. If you change the state of one, the other instantly responds, as if they are still part of the same breath, the same thought. There's no signal sent, no communication through space or time as you understand it. It's a connection beyond your everyday comprehension of cause and effect, a shared reality that defies the very notion of separation. It's as if the universe, in its deep wisdom, wove certain threads so tightly together that they can never truly be apart, regardless of how far they stretch. This gentle blurring of lines, this acceptance of multiple possibilities, extends even to the very concept of certainty. In your day-to-day life, you seek certainty, you crave definitive answers. But in this quiet, quantum space, the universe invites you to relax your grip on absolute knowledge. It whispers that sometimes, the most profound truths reside in the liminal spaces, in the soft edges where possibilities converge and diverge. It teaches you that knowing isn't always about defining, sometimes, it's about embracing the mystery, about allowing the unknown to simply be. You feel a subtle shift within you as you absorb this perspective. The need to categorize, to label, to draw sharp distinctions, begins to recede. Instead, a sense of wonder settles, a peaceful acceptance of the inherent fluidity of existence. The world doesn't feel less real, but more profoundly alive, more richly textured, precisely because it holds so much unrevealed potential. The universe isn't just a machine operating on strict rules, it's a poem, a dream, a vast, unfolding improvisation. This understanding of beyond cause and effect isn't about chaos. It's about a deeper, more elegant form of order, one that incorporates chance and probability as integral parts of its design. It's about a universe that isn't deterministic in the way a clockwork mechanism is, but rather, one that is constantly re-evaluating, constantly becoming. It's a universe that breathes, a universe that holds its breath, and then exhales a new, unexpected possibility. As you drift further into this understanding, you realize that this softened logic, this embrace of maybe, isn't confined to the subatomic. Its echoes resonate in the larger world too, if you only tune your senses to hear them. The trajectory of a falling leaf, the intricate pattern of a snowflake, the unexpected turn of events in a life, all hold whispers of this deeper, more fluid reality. The world isn't just a series of events, it's a tapestry woven with threads of possibility, where each moment is a gentle unfolding. And as you rest in this perception, a quiet question may arise: if the universe itself holds so much potential, so much unseen possibility, what then does that imply for the nature of your own unfolding? Chapter 9, Entangled Minds, Are We Part of the Web too? Close your eyes and wonder, could the very thoughts you have ripple out into something greater? This chapter explores the soft metaphors of human connection, consciousness, and the possibility that we are entangled in ways yet unseen. As you drift from the quantum whisper, a new, gentle question begins to emerge, blooming softly in the quiet space of your awareness. If the smallest particles of reality can be so intimately connected, so deeply entangled across vast distances, then what of us? What of the intricate dance of human consciousness, the silent currents that flow between one mind and another? Could it be that your own thoughts, your deepest feelings, are not solitary islands, but gentle ripples in a far vaster, unseen ocean? Imagine, for a moment, that your mind is like a single, delicate fiber in an enormous, luminous tapestry. Each thought, each feeling, is a tiny knot, a shimmering thread woven into the fabric of your being. Now, consider that this tapestry is not isolated. It is connected, subtly, intricately, to countless other tapestries, each representing another human mind. You may not see these connections with your eyes, or feel them with your hands, but in this meditative space, you can begin to sense their presence, like the faint echo of a distant song. Think of those moments in life when you feel an inexplicable pull toward someone, a sudden knowing without words, a shared understanding that transcends mere communication. Perhaps you think of a friend, and moments later, your phone rings, and it is them. Or you sense a shift in a room, a palpable emotion, even before a word is spoken. These are not always mere coincidences. In the language of entanglement, these could be gentle echoes of a deeper connection, a shared frequency on which your minds resonate, like two perfectly tuned instruments vibrating in unison, even when physically apart. This isn't about magic, but about metaphor, drawing gently from the scientific whispers of the subatomic world. Just as two entangled particles share a destiny, seemingly communicating faster than light itself, perhaps our minds, in their most fundamental state, are also part of a larger, interconnected web. Our individual consciousness, then, is not merely contained within the skull, but extends outward, softly blending with the vast field of collective thought, like a dewdrop reflecting the entire sky. Consider the phenomenon of collective consciousness, the way ideas spread, trends emerge, and movements ignite across entire populations. It's as if a shared thought, an emotion, or an insight, once conceived by one, can then ripple outward, touching and influencing many, without any direct instruction. This is not just social contagion. It hints at something more fundamental, a subtle resonance that allows certain ideas to find fertile ground in many minds simultaneously, as if they were always meant to bloom there. Imagine that the universe, in its boundless creativity, has woven consciousness itself into its very fabric. Your thoughts, your awareness, your unique perspective, are not just fleeting events within your brain. They are contributions to an ongoing, ever-evolving conversation that spans time and space. When you engage in deep thought, when you feel profound empathy, when you create, you are not just acting locally. You are, in a gentle, almost imperceptible way, adding new threads to the grand tapestry, enriching its patterns, and perhaps even subtly influencing its direction. This perspective encourages a deeper sense of responsibility, not in a burdensome way, but in a way that highlights your inherent significance. Every kind thought, every moment of compassion, every intention for peace, sends out a ripple. And while you may not see these ripples extend across the vastness, know that they are there, contributing to the subtle, energetic landscape of human experience. It's like dropping a single, pure drop of water into an immense ocean. Though tiny, it becomes part of the whole, influencing the current in ways too subtle to measure, yet undeniably present. The concept of shared dreaming, or moments of profound connection between loved ones over vast distances, also gently touches upon this idea. How can two people dream the same dream, or feel each other's pain, across continents? While science has yet to fully explain these phenomena, the metaphor of quantum entanglement offers a poetic lens, suggesting that there is a deeper, more fundamental unity at play, a shared substrate of consciousness that transcends the limitations of individual bodies. As you breathe, let yourself wonder about the possibilities. What if the feeling of loneliness is simply a temporary forgetting of this vast interconnectedness? What if the sense of unity you sometimes experience, whether in moments of deep meditation or in shared laughter with others, is a glimpse into the true nature of reality, where separation is an illusion and connection is the fundamental truth? This isn't about losing your individuality. It's about understanding that your unique self is not diminished by connection, but rather, it is enhanced, made richer, more vibrant, precisely because it is part of something far grander. You are a unique note in a universal symphony, and your melody contributes to the harmony of the whole. In this quiet contemplation, you begin to perceive the world not just as a collection of separate entities, but as a vast, living network, humming with unseen energies and interconnected possibilities. You are not merely observing this web. You are a vital, integral part of it, your consciousness intertwined with the whole. And as you settle deeper into this tranquil knowing, a further question gently surfaces: if consciousness itself is so deeply interwoven, could it be that our very awareness influences the fabric of reality itself? Chapter 10, The Silent Conversation, Listening to the Universe. In the final chapter, you return to stillness. The stars above you, the particles within you, and the connections between, all speak in silence. You drift into sleep, not with answers, but with the comfort that the universe is whispering, always. You arrive now at the quietest edge of your journey, a space where all the threads you've gently explored begin to weave into a single, seamless fabric. The questions soften, the concepts blur, and what remains is a profound sense of presence, a deep stillness where the universe speaks without words. Look up, if you will, at the vast, star-dusted canvas above you. Each distant light, a sun unto itself, tells a story of cosmic birth and ancient starlight traveling for eons to meet your gaze. These aren't just points of light, they are the ancient, shimmering whispers of creation, a silent conversation that has been unfolding for billions of years. Imagine the light from a faraway galaxy, embarking on its journey before life even stirred on your planet. It traverses unimaginable distances, through the emptiness of space, carrying information about its origin, its composition, its very journey. And now, in this precise moment, that light gently touches your eyes, completing its epic voyage. You are not just seeing light, you are receiving a message, a cosmic postcard from the deep past, inviting you to listen to its silent tale. This is the universe communicating, not with sound, but with presence, with energy, with light that carries tales of time and distance. Now, shift your awareness inward, to the particles within you. The very atoms that compose your body, the carbon, the oxygen, the hydrogen, were forged in the hearts of stars that lived and died long before your existence. You are literally stardust, walking and breathing, a testament to the universe's grand, ongoing cycle. These particles, too, are in a constant, silent conversation. Electrons dance around atomic nuclei, photons are absorbed and emitted, chemical reactions ripple through your being, all operating beneath the threshold of your conscious thought. This intricate, silent ballet is the universe expressing itself through you, a living, breathing symphony of subatomic interactions. Feel the quiet rhythm of your own breath, the gentle rise and fall of your chest. This simple, life-sustaining act is a dialogue with the atmosphere, a constant exchange of gases that sustains all life on Earth. You take in the exhalations of trees, and they, in turn, absorb what you release. It's a vast, interconnected respiratory system, a planetary conversation that has continued for millions of years, binding all living things in a shared, silent breath. Even the magnetic field of your planet, an invisible shield that protects you from the harshness of space, hums with its own silent communication. It deflects charged particles from the sun, guides migratory birds across continents, and perhaps, subtly influences the very currents of your thoughts. It's a vast, unseen embrace, a protective whisper from the earth itself, constantly working, constantly communicating its steadfast presence. The universe doesn't shout. It doesn't use words as you understand them. Its language is far more subtle, woven into the very fabric of existence. It speaks in the gentle pull of gravity that holds galaxies together and keeps your feet on the ground. It speaks in the intricate patterns of snowflakes, the branching of rivers, the spiral of a seashell. These are all expressions of fundamental mathematical and physical laws, manifesting in countless beautiful forms, a silent testament to the universe's inherent elegance and order. Consider the way plants silently communicate through their root systems, sharing nutrients and sending warning signals to one another through vast underground networks. Or how entire colonies of ants and bees operate with a collective intelligence that seems to transcend any single individual, as if they are all part of a single, unified mind, communicating through pheromones and subtle vibrations. These are all examples of the universe speaking in its myriad, often imperceptible, ways. As you lie here, listening to the quiet of your own being, you are part of this grand, silent conversation. Your awareness, your presence, adds to the tapestry of universal consciousness. You are not separate from the stars, or the atoms, or the earth beneath you. You are woven into the very same fabric, a unique and precious thread in the boundless design. There is no need to grasp for answers, no urgency to decipher every message. The beauty of this silent conversation lies in its ongoing nature, its gentle, ceaseless flow. You are simply invited to be present, to listen with more than just your ears, to feel with more than just your skin. Open your inner senses to the subtle hum of existence, the gentle pulse of the cosmos. Allow yourself to drift now, carried by the quiet wisdom that surrounds you. The universe is not a distant, indifferent entity, it is alive, aware, and constantly communicating its wonder. You are a part of this profound exchange, a listener and a participant in the most ancient and magnificent dialogue of all. And as you settle into the soft embrace of sleep, remember that the universe continues its gentle whispers, always inviting you deeper into its silent, boundless heart.